So you guys have been asking me to do a top Montal fragrances video, and I've been wanting to do a top 20, which unfortunately this is not because I don't have 20 fragrances from Montal. Maybe I do, but no, I don't think I do. But I do have 10 really good fragrances from this house, and I thought I'd add a little twist to this video and rank them from least potent to most potent. Now we all know Montal has some of the most beast mode and potent fragrances. And so even though they are ranked from least potent to most potent, the least potent fragrances from Montal are still going to be pretty intense if you are used to wearing designer fragrances. So if you want to find out how I rank these 10 favorite Montal fragrances from least to most potent, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. That's right, it's all about Montal today. And this is a video I've been requested quite a bit, not only as comments, but also messages and emails that you guys have sent me in email and also in messages via Instagram. So I thought let's do this video together. 10 of my favorite Montal fragrances. Most of them are pretty popular. A lot of them are from more recent years, probably the last 3 years, 4 years, some older classics here, but 10 really good ones, and I'm going to tell you all about these. Before we do that though, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you still haven't subscribed to the channel, please click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So we're talking about Montal today, but before we get to that, I want to just announce a couple of things. As I said, I've been launching t-shirts lately, and I've been telling everybody about my latest Ambergris Alert t-shirt here. Forever Vetiver here, and there are many more on my Teespring t-shirt shop, which also I have mugs and masks for, you know, the COVID pandemic, all centered around perfumes. So hopefully you guys are going and checking them out, and hopefully you'll pick up one or two of the t-shirts. As I said, there's more there. There's more t-shirts, and I'm still waiting for samples so that I can do a actual video on these t-shirts and accessories that I'm selling, and mugs and things like that. But I wanted to announce for you guys so that you can go check them out. Anyway, let's start this video. We're going to start off with number 10. And it's a fragrance that doesn't get spoken too much about, and I do really enjoy this one. It's a strange combo that actually works. It's Oud Lavender, this one right here. So out of the 10 that I'm talking about today, this is the least beast mode, but again, Montal fragrances are intense to begin with. So even though I'm putting them down at the bottom of the list as the least beast mode or least intense, these are still very, very intense fragrances. So Oud Lavender focuses on oud with lavender, but with this one, even though oud comes before lavender in the name, I feel like lavender is a lot more prominent than the oud. Sometimes they're actually neck and neck with their intensity of whichever note, but I feel like lavender pretty much runs the show because lavender contrasts nicely with oud. I never thought it would, but it does really work here, so you get lots of lavender with oud. Now this fragrance also has lots of powdery notes, so it's a lavender powder oud experience with some saffron, and that saffron for some reason always, anytime I see it in fragrances with oud, it reminds me of that whole Middle Eastern oud thing. So it does come off like that here in this fragrance, even though it's lavender, it's not rose. Then there's some musk in here, amber, sandalwood, patchouli, and some floral notes. It has tiny amounts of citruses, so you get that, but I think mostly what you're experiencing here is lavender, oud, and powdery notes with some saffron and musk. A great scent, and I've ranked it at number 10 because it's not as beast mode as the first one at the top, at the bottom, not at the bottom, at the front, but definitely still intense. So Oud Lavender is number 10, and at number 9, it's Full Incense. So if you like incense fragrances, I highly recommend you try this one. Before I explain this to you a little more fully, I just want to mention that the way I'm ranking this video is not only for intensity of things like sillage, projection, and then also longevity, but just the overall experience of the fragrance. So a lot of those things are factors, but sometimes a fragrance might last a long time, but it doesn't have the projection and the sillage. But still, I'm taken into consideration all of those factors and ranking it that way. So this particular fragrance doesn't scream a lot, but it has really, really potent longevity. The fragrance experience, this is full incense by the way, number 9. The fragrance experience is very sticky and ambery. So there's loads of ambery touches here, but with loads of incense. If you like a fragrance like Avignon from Comme des Garçons and you wanted a more intense version of that fragrance, this is it right here. Although there are other fragrances that kind of are in that same ballpark, but Full Incense I feel like is the most intense version of Avignon. It's very, very ambery. There are sweet touches in here coming from the labdanum. According to the notes, there's incense, elemi resin, labdanum, cedar, patchouli. There are slight light vanillic touches in there as well, but an overall great incense. But the reason it's not ranked at the top is because even though it has great longevity, it doesn't have the most projection and sillage for me. It's a little closer to the body, so I ranked it, you know, more in the bottom. Full Incense number 9. So this next one is Vetiver Patchouli. Vetiver Patchouli. This is a great scent, and it does remind me of a couple of other fragrances which I have a video on the channel, you know, comparing the 3. It reminds me of Tempo from Diptyque. It also reminds me of Orage from Louis Vuitton. So those these three fragrances are in the same ballpark. Of course, each one has a unique twist to it. And Vetiver Patchouli, just like well, no, it's not just like Full Incense. I feel like this one doesn't have as good of a longevity as Full Incense does, but I feel like the projection and sillage are much better. Does that make sense? But the overall experience still is very, very intense and overwhelming, and it's a great scent. It smells so good. And here with this one, it's powdery once again with carrot. There's a carrot note in here. Carrot and iris I find has similarities with the powdery experience, but what this one's known about is what the name is, vetiver and patchouli. Loads of vetiver, loads of patchouli. And with this one they got the naming right because vetiver is the more potent note than patchouli, but once again, just like oud lavender, I feel like they're almost neck and neck. Overall, there's pink pepper and jasmine here as well, and it's a great scent. It's very, very sexy. The vetiver patchouli is amazing in this, and it has a very greenish woody quality overall. It's a great scent. Vetiver patchouli at number 8. Now this next one was pretty popular last year when it first came out. This is Sensual Instinct, this one right here. Once again, this is an overall equal experience. The longevity is equal, the projection is equal, the sillage is equal. I feel like I should take that back. I feel like the projection and sillage are a little stronger than the actual longevity of the fragrance, but the overall experience again is intense. It's a long-lasting. It's overwhelming. A little goes a long way with all of these fragrances from Montal, but this didn't make it to the top because I have other fragrances at the top that are a lot more intense. But you know what? I like the balance of this one. It doesn't need to be any stronger. I mean, it lasts quite a bit. And what I like about this one is praline, rose, oak moss, amber, coffee, and cedar. It does have the reminder of Baccarat Rouge, you know. It has that kind of style. I think it was influenced by that fragrance. Maybe it wasn't, I don't know, but to me it reminds me of Baccarat Rouge quite a bit. And you know, Sensual Instinct is a great scent. I love it. I love the rose. I love the sparkly fireworks-like experience with this one because, you know, there's crackling qualities in the notes, just like lights going off, and, you know, it's a great scent. I love it. Sometimes I hate it because it does remind me of Baccarat Rouge, but then again, it doesn't because this one also has things like praline in it, so it has a chocolatey touch. It has the rose, which Baccarat Rouge doesn't have either. So those things make it for a unique experience. And with a little more about this one, it does remind me of a few other Montal fragrances, especially something like Intense Cafe. In here, I get something Intense Cafe milky, rosy quality, which I like, really cool. And that's why I feel like, you know what, even though it does have reminders of Baccarat Rouge, it's different enough. It's not a straight-on copy, and I feel like basically what they did was copy that amber or ambroxan from Baccarat Rouge and whatever other note that creates this like Baccarat Rouge-like quality in here. Anyway, Sensual Instinct is a great scent, very long-lasting, but not as long as some of the others in the top 5. And that is at number 7. And at number 6, it is Intense Cafe. And I also want to highlight Ristretto Intense Cafe. They're different, but I'm ranking the original here because I don't know, it's the original. Ristretto Intense Cafe is great if you don't want it as milky as this and you want more coffee or cafe-like qualities, because what Ristretto Cafe has done to the original Intense Cafe is they've actually added a lot more potency with the coffee notes. So you still get what this fragrance is, but the coffee is boosted up. So I'm going with the original. It's a very, very long-lasting fragrance. It's rose, it's milk, it's amber, it's flower or floral notes, but a very, very sexy fragrance, very milky, lactonic coffee and rose experience. And overall, I feel like it's at the bottom more, but although it's at the top, I feel like because of the kind of fragrance this is, milky fragrances are softer fragrances to me overall in general, so I feel like it's slipped down a little, you know, it's a great scent overall, very, very sexy, and I've turned down so many people with this one and they've really loved it. I think it's got that comforting vibe, the cozy vibe. That's another reason why it's not as intense and potent as some of the other fragrances in here, like you'll see in a little bit. But, you know, overall, it's a very, very long-lasting fragrance, and you have to make the toss-up which one you want to go with, Intense Cafe or Ristretto Intense Cafe. I feel like Ristretto Intense Cafe is less cozy and comforting than this one, and this one overall, that whole milky latte-like quality just gives it a very, very cozy, comfy, very, very relaxed kind of attitude. Again, this one I've turned on so many people that have loved it, they've wanted it, and I think once people get a whiff of it, they really immediately want to have a bottle. Anyway, that's Intense Cafe at number 6. And now for the top 5, Patchouli Leaves. So if you're a patcho like me, you're really going to love this. This is similar to fragrances like Reminiscence, Patchouli, Psychedelic, things like that. So if you like that style of patchouli, you're really going to love this one. And it is also very, very intense. These kind of patchouli fragrances are very intense experiences, mostly about that very dark, earthy, chocolate cakey patchouli. And the reason I get the chocolate cakey patchouli here is because, you know, it's got loads of amber, it's got vanilla, it's got labdanum, it's got musk, but that earthy, sexy patchouli in here, very, very woody and chocolatey, is just the main star here. It's not as potent as number 1, but it's very, very potent to be in top 5. And you gotta love patchouli. You know, you have to appreciate this note. It's not hippie. It doesn't smell like hippie. Doesn't smell like body odor, because a lot of people associate patchouli with that. But it's got those very, very cakey, chocolatey kind of qualities with that very, very dark, earthy patchouli. Such a great scent. This is Patchouli Leaves at number 5. Okay, this one is so beast mode, but the overall experience is a gourmand fragrance, and gourmand fragrances, to me, even though they can get beast mode like this, I feel like there's other styles that can even, you know, crumble the beast mode qualities of a gourmand fragrance. This is Vanilla Cake, and it's so strong and potent, guys. Loads of vanilla in this one, loads of almonds, and caramel. There's meringue, and then there's also milk in the notes. So the overall experience, is it milky? You know, it's got lactonic and milky qualities, but it's not as silky smooth as Intense Cafe. This one seems more doughy and woody. No woods or woody notes are listed, but probably they're in there, because I get lots of woods with this one, with all of those gourmand notes of the vanilla, the caramel, the meringue, almonds, and milk. It's really, really delicious. It's overwhelming. It's intense. Again, this one is a little goes a long way. But, you know, the next 3 are just really, really potent and really long-lasting. One thing I forgot to mention, and I will mention it to when I get to the fragrance, that I had the experience of wearing it just recently. But a lot of these fragrances last more than 2 days. Like, really, really goes on. And if you put it on clothes, 5, 6, 7 days. And I'm going to tell you about the story with which one that's coming up in a little bit. But anyway, beast mode fragrances are what Montal fragrances are all about. And this one is definitely one of their most intense. If you like gourmands that are really, really long lasting, you got to try Vanilla Cake. Anyway, that's at number 4. Number 3, this is Honey Oud. So here, a lot of people compare this to Floris's Honey Oud, and they're completely different. Both of them have honey as a note, and this one I feel like the oud is more potent than the honey. You've got to love oud. It's slightly animalic here. and the honey kind of like tones down the animalic stylings of that oud, but it's not a syrupy, molassesy, sappy kind of honey here, because that oud is so overwhelming that you don't experience that honeyed, molassesy kind of quality that you appreciate, especially in a fragrance like Honey Oud from Floris. Again, they're so different. If you are curious about this and the comparison of that fragrance, I have a whole video on the channel, you can find that. But the reason I put this one at number 3, because it's really, really intense. The oud is so overwhelming here, and you've got to like animalic ouds, because the animalic parts of this oud are here, but everything else around the fragrance tones down the animalic qualities, but you still get it. There's oud, honey, there's cinnamon, loads of ambery touches, there's vanillic touches, there's loads of leather, there's loads of patchouli, and some light floral notes in here for an overwhelming oud and honey experience. Even though this is called Honey Oud, I feel like it should be called oud honey, but I think it sounds better with Honey Oud, and it kind of like matches or compares with Floris's Honey Oud. Anyway, this is intense, it's overwhelming. I would say it's a gourmand, but it's more oud than gourmand. So those of you that think this is going to be like a full-on gourmand, it's not. It's not anything like Intense Cafe. You experience oud here, in your face oud, a lot more than honey for me. Anyway, Honey Oud at number 3, really, really long lasting. So number 2 is the fragrance I recently featured in my Tonka Beans fragrances video. This is Arabian's Tonka. So after that video, I decided to put this on. I have been wearing masks all over the city because we're required to wear it. I sprayed a bunch of it on my mask and on my clothes. And man, I have not been able to wash the smell of Montal's Arabian's Tonka off of anything. This is so, so potent. If you like Tonka beans and fragrances, you gotta try this one. And this I mentioned in the Tonka video, a Tonka beans fragrances video. This doesn't smell anything like the original Arabians, nothing, although it might have some light elements of the original Arabians, but this is a Tonka bean bomb, like overwhelmingly Tonka beans with a sugary, crystally kind of experience, because there's loads of sugar here, loads of Tonka beans. There is oud, but just like in Honey Oud, where the oud is more prominent than the honey, here the oud is definitely not as prominent as the Tonka beans. The Tonka beans definitely is the driving force here, with lots of sugar. The sugar is sugar crystals. You experience the crystally quality in this one. There is a granular quality when you're wearing it. So there's also saffron here. You do experience it. That saffron adds that kind of unique Middle Eastern oud kind of combo fragrance, as I was saying earlier. There is rose here too, and that rose is so beautiful. Almost reminds me of any of the other roses that are in Montal fragrances, like Black Oud and Intense Cafe. But you get the right amount of rose in here, because otherwise it would contrast weirdly with the Tonka beans. There's loads of amber here, loads of musk, some bergamot, and some oak moss. And there's a light, very, very light Baccarat Rouge-like thing happening again in here, very lightly in comparison to Sensual Instinct. So it almost seems like it could be offsprings of all these different fragrances. But again, the Tonka Beans is running the show, and it's so long-lasting, guys. It's overwhelmingly potent. Also, not only the longevity, but the actual projection and the sillage. It's just a big, big cloud. Overwhelming experience, and a little goes a long way here. So this is Arabian's Tonka at number 2. And I had to put this one at number 1 because I still wear it and I love it. It smells great. It lasts a long time, days and days and days. It won't wash off. It's overwhelming. It's Black Oud. And also I should mention, I have reviewed Intense Black Oud. Again, just like Intense Cafe and Ristretto Intense Cafe, I'm mostly speaking about Black Oud here. I don't want to feature intense fragrances in contrast with normal fragrances in this video. That's why I'm doing the original versions. And the original version is long lasting. It's intense already. It is really, really overwhelming. And what I like about this one is just the combination of the rose and oud is just amazing. It's a great, great combo of notes. But what else I like in this one is loads of patchouli. So rose, oud, patchouli, musk, together they are best friends and working together wonderfully, smelling fantastic, lasting a long time. But don't forget, this one also has some ambery touches. There's labdanum, perhaps there's a little bit of benzoin and some light vanillic touches as well to give us an ambery experience in the base. But man, the combination of notes, as I mentioned, rose, oud, patchouli, and musk, is phenomenal. And Montal does these notes wonderfully. If you don't like Montal, because then you probably do not like rose and oud and patchouli and musk, because they really know how to do those four notes wonderfully together, and that's why they keep releasing fragrances that features all those notes all the time, over and over again. Anyway, my most intense Montal fragrance is Black Oud. It's actually fantastic, smells amazing, and lasts a long time. So that's at number 1, and that's my video for you today. What do you think about these fragrances? Are there any Montal fragrances that I should check out? Because as I said, I have probably about 16 total Montal fragrances, with these ones being my favorite of all. And as I said, today, if I rank them as favorites, I would rank them differently, but the twist today was least intense to most intense, and these at the top are the most intense, and of course at the bottom they were the least intense. But you might experience these fragrances differently. If you have tried all 10 of these fragrances, how do you experience them? Put them down. And if you haven't, and you want to give me your top 5 most intense Montal fragrances, I would love to see a comment to let me know which ones. And lastly, I did mention this already, but please let me know of any Montal fragrances that I should check out. I know they crank out fragrances so much and I can't keep up with them, but I really do enjoy this house and I like their longevity and intensity. Anyway, thanks so much for watching today. I hope everyone's doing great. Stay tuned for more videos this week. I got lots of videos planned. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Otherwise, please like this video, please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.